Hello YouTube! You may be wondering, what I've been up to for these couple of months. Of course, since I've been doing sorting algorithms redux, I haven't actually been doing, a lot of my other stuff that I usually do. However, I did go for a number of photography sessions, some of which I had one or two pretty interesting insights that of course I would share with you, which is why this video serves as both a vlog and a showcase, and hopefully with a little bit of educational elements. And of course it involves my experiences for this past couple of months. So maybe this video will be a little bit short, but either way hopefully I can share some of the more interesting experiences. It is the 9th of January 2013, a Wednesday. You're watching 0612 TV. This is 0612 TV.
Welcome aboard.
So alright, let us take a look at the first item. The first videography exploit I have for you is this little, abstract piece, so to speak. Now my dad actually bought this cool little fiber optic LED light, and basically what it is it's just a number of colored LEDs at the bottom, and it shines light into a bunch of fibers, causing there to be little pinpricks of light at the ends of the fibers. So I brought the entire light into a darkened room and just had some fun with the camera. So what you're seeing right now is just some of the footage I got from that session, to music of course. So shortly before Christmas, I actually took a trip with my dad to this place in Singapore called Gardens by the Bay. Now what this place is it's basically some sort of a botanic gardens kind of thing. And one part of the exhibit is they have two domes which are fully covered, and they have some botanical life forms in the area. Since we did go when the sun was quite high, we actually got some really nice lens flares. So here you can actually see some images where I decided to somehow work the lens flare into the image. It was around Christmas time as well, so basically in the area they had a whole lot of these baubles, and they have a very nice reflective surface, which led me to think, maybe I could make use of that angle. I simply used the surface of the bauble to capture a white area. There's a very nice sort of distortion of the image. A few hours later, on our way back, I actually saw these nice lamps which were throwing some sort of a nice pattern light onto the floor, so I thought I'd take a picture of that as well. Nothing out of the ordinary spectacular for this batch of pictures, but still kinda interesting stuff to see. Now on the same day as the previous segment, after we were actually done looking at whatever we wanted to look at, we thought we would maybe take a slightly longer walk on our way back. And the clouds sort of gathered overhead. There was a little bit of lightning and thunder going on. So what better to do than to just whip out the camera, switch on the high-speed shooting option. In this case I'm going for 120 frames per second. And this is my most successful attempt at taking a look at lightning. What 120 frames per second means is that in actual fact this actually took place 4 times faster. This is a 25% slowdown. So this clip actually only takes up about a second. Interestingly, the spot where we chose to take this was actually right beside where some construction was going on, and a bunch of workers were actually doing welding. So I thought, hey, maybe I could extend the whole high-speed slow motion to shooting the welding as well. For this I used a combination of 2 high-speed shooting modes, including 720p at 60 frames per second, which is about half speed, as well as of course 120 frames per second, which was the speed I mentioned earlier. Welding actually looks really beautiful in slow motion. And in my most recent photography exploit, I actually headed over to Bedok Reservoir. I've actually mentioned this place a couple of times. You should have seen footage on this area multiple times on my channel. So, well, the scenery should be nothing new to you. Now, we actually went this time with the objective of trying to catch the sunset. However, we went in the wrong time of the year, and the sun sets at a rather inopportune angle at this point of time. However, I did get quite a number of shots. Most of them are actually high dynamic range brackets. Now what I also did is I took a bunch of videos. I brought my tripod with me to facilitate both the HDR shooting as well as getting slightly better video. So I ended up putting together a number of things, including first of all a number of HDR images which I will show off to you, as well as some sort of an abstract reel to music, of course. So tell you what, let's watch the reel first, and then we will move on to taking a look at the HDR images. So there's that. Let us now take a look at the HDR images. So here are some successful examples, and well, if you want to go in depth into HDRI, I actually have a series I made some time ago called The World of HDRI, where I actually showcase my workflow in creating HDR images. So if you are interested, I will put an annotation on screen and you can click on it to watch that series. However, if you just want to know what settings I used, well, I used the Mantu 06 algorithm. I decided to go a little bit more subtle this time, so I did not push the saturation too far. Most of the time, detail factor is kept at around 1 to 1.6, and pre-gamma never goes below 0.7. That's why you don't get the crazy colors, you don't get the crazy outlines. However, I did do some post-processing to bring out the colors where I wanted the colors. I actually got my white balance wrong on the field as well, so most of my images turned out kinda blue. But white balance screw-ups are quite easy to fix, which is why it's not really a problem. Oh, and here's a little HDR PSA by the way. You see this picture? This HDR composite looks a little bit weird. Now the reason for this might not be immediately apparent, but if you actually take a look here, these areas are completely washed out. However, what's strange is that they are not pure white. Instead, they have actually been lowered to some kind of grey by the algorithm, which actually makes it look extra ugly. And the reason for this is simple. Of the 3 images I got of this bracket, none of them actually managed to get detail in that area of the sky. In other words, for all 3 images, you can see that at that area, it was basically blown out. And that is one mistake you want to avoid when you are taking HDR brackets. The less you blow out, the better, because then you will be able to restore the detail in HDR processing. And there you go, that's some of the interesting things that, I thought I would share with you. That basically wraps it up for this episode. If you have any comments, queries or suggestions, feel free to leave a comment in the comment section below. If you liked this video or found it helpful, I appreciate every like, favorite and subscription you give me. Until next time, you are watching 0612 TV.